Season Predictions. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. But before I get into this video, 85% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a like. And let's go ahead and get into this video. 2021 MLB Season Predictions. Now this will be broken up into two videos. I've already done my awards predictions, so make sure you go check that video out. But this video will be just regular season predictions, and a future video will be my postseason predictions. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into my season predictions for the regular season. Coming in 5th place in the AL East is going to be the Baltimore Orioles. I think this is a pretty obvious choice. They finished with a 25-35 record in the shortened 2020 season. The Baltimore Orioles are just simply not very good. Trey Mancini is going to be coming back, so that'll be a power bat. Adley Rutschman could make them relevant in 2021, but they're still not going to make the playoffs. In my opinion, I think there's about less than 1% chance that they make the playoffs in 2021, and that's just because they're not very good. I think they do have some tradable assets at the trade deadline with John Means, Trey Mancini, Renato Nunez. Well, Renato Nunez is not even on that team anymore. But like Rio Urias could be another tradable asset on that team. So they've got a lot of different players that could be traded on this team at the trade deadline because overall this team's just not very good. You're waiting for prospects, like I said, like D.L. Hall, Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez to come up. And until then, the Orioles will be the bottom dweller in the AL East. Coming in 4th place is going to be the Boston Red Sox, who finished in last place in 2020 with a 24-36 record. You can expect them to be a little better in 2021 after they did make some offseason additions, getting Marwin Gonzalez, Garrett Richards, and some other players. But none were the big move that I really think they needed, because I really do think that obviously they picked up Adam Ottavino from the Yankees, which is one of the few Yankees-Red Sox trades. And, yeah, I mean, Adam Ottavino, I think, is going to be a good arm in that bullpen. Matt Barnes, too. But overall, I just do not like this bullpen, and I don't think that this bullpen is going to do very well for them. I think that they could have brought some relievers in that were going to be good, and they could still bring in somebody like a Shane Green in free agency. But for the Red Sox, I mean, their hitting's good. Alexander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, obviously, you traded Andrew Benintendi. I wasn't a big fan of the package that they received back, and it was just really Franchy Cordero and like prospect. I just didn't think that was very good value for a all-star caliber player, and they obviously lost Jackie Bradley Jr. this offseason as well. So, yeah. This Red Sox team, their hitting's good, but their pitching concerns me too much to put them any higher than here. Coming in 3rd place is the Toronto Blue Jays, who finished with a 32-28 record in 2020 in this exact same spot in 3rd place. And for the Blue Jays, they picked up George Springer this offseason, one of the best free agents this offseason. They also picked up Marcus Semien and Kirby Yates. But I'm really concerned about their starting pitching, and I'm quite concerned about their relief pitching as well, but I'm definitely more concerned about their starting pitching because you've got Hyun-Jin Ryu there, who I think has proven to be an ace-type pitcher, but Nate Pearson went down with an injury, and you really just don't have that great of a rotation besides him. I think you're going to be relying on Robbie Ray a lot to have a all-star caliber season, which we have seen an all-star caliber season from Robbie Ray before. I don't know that you can expect that from Robbie Ray. Tanner Roark, you're going to have to expect him to be like he was with the Nationals, which I don't know if is something that you can expect. There's just a lot to hope for in this starting rotation. Your hitting is great. You've got Marcus Semien, George Springer. You've got Lourdes Gurriel, Randall Grichuk, who will be coming off the bench. You've got Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, and I'm probably forgetting somebody. Yeah, Kevin Biggio. So, yeah. Their bullpen, though, I mean, you picked up Yates this offseason, one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. You've got Rafael Dolis, which I don't really know what to expect from him. A lot of question marks for the Blue Jays pitching here, in my opinion. Coming in 2nd place is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays, who finished with a 40-20 record in 2020. And the Rays are still a very good team, and I definitely see them competing for this first spot. It's just, in an offseason that you lose Blake Snell and Charlie Morton, that is a really big loss. But I think the rotation depth for the Rays is going to be absolutely crazy. You might even have Cole Wilcox come up, whether that's in the bullpen or starting pitching. You're going to have Shane Bass coming up, Brett Honeywell, Luis Patino. You're going to have Colt. You're going to have McHugh in that starting rotation, along with Michael Wacha, who I think definitely could have a bounce back season this year, along with like Tyler Glasnow, who I personally think is one of the more overrated players in baseball, just because he just is not that good that everyone hypes him up to be. So you got Ryan Yarbrough there too. So they've got a lot of starting pitchers that could compete for that 2021 spot for their hitting here. You've got Randy Arozarena, who I think is a favorite to win AL Rookie of the Year. You've also got Austin Meadows there. You've got Wander Franco that could come up, which could make a huge impact there if Wander Franco could come up and be the player that he is hyped up to be. And coming in first place is going to be the New York Yankees, 2020 record, 33-27. I think the Yankees actually fare well, better actually in a 162 game season, and that simply is because of injuries. I did not think that they were really that great in a weird 2020 season, but I think in 2021 it's going to be a lot better. They picked up Jameson Taillon, Corey Kluber this offseason, along with the recent signing DJ LeMahieu. You've got Luke Voigt, DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, and Carlos Stanton. Both players that cannot stay healthy. So that's the big concern there. If they can stay healthy, then the Yankees will be in a lot better place as a team. You've got Corey Kluber, Jameson Taillon in that rotation, along with Garrett Cole. Your bullpen's obviously very good, even though it did lose Zach Britton yesterday. You've got Aroldis Chapman in that bullpen as well. You lost Adam Ottavino this offseason. But, I mean, still, you've got like Darren O'Day, who you picked up, who could be maybe a sneaky good reliever for this team. So the Yankees coming out in first place. Moving on to the AL Central, coming in fifth place is going to be the Detroit Tigers. They finished in 2020 with a record of 23-35. They brought in A.J. Hinch to be their manager this offseason, which I think is a good move. You got Robbie Grossman this offseason, Nomar Mazara, who I think could be a possible breakout candidate, especially in Detroit. I think he could definitely be a player that is traded at the trade deadline from this team. Because I'm really expecting maybe a Nomar Mazara breakout season in 2021. You also got Spencer Torkelson, who could maybe come up as early as 2021. You've got Casey Meyer, Tariq Skubal, even Riley Green. All those players are going to be ready to come up in 2021. And then, yeah, that Tigers rebuild is kind of getting close to being ready to once again compete. Miguel Cabrera, you've obviously got that bad contract on your team. No team is taking on that contract. It's just not happening. A sneaky team here comes in fourth place. That's the Kansas City Royals, who finished with a 2020 record of 26-34. Now, I don't think that this Royals team is not really ready to make the playoffs, but this team actually is in a very good position as a team. You brought in Andrew Benintendi this offseason, who is an all-star caliber player for the. I mean, he's shown to be an all-star caliber player. Whit Merrifield is an all-star caliber player, one of the more underrated players in baseball. He just is. He's one of the more underrated players in baseball. You've also got Hunter Dozier, Jorge Soler, who hit almost 50 home runs in 2019. Your starting pitching is kind of the concerning part here. You've got like Brad Keller, Brady Seager. Danny Duffy, just not very good players in that rotation. They also brought in some other players this offseason that I think could be very good for this team. Mike Minor, who I think could be a potential ace for this team, even though he is kind of mediocre. I think he might be a tradable piece at the trade deadline, along with Carlos Santana. I think both of those could be a potential trade piece in the 2021 MLB trade deadline. They also brought back Greg Holland, who I think is another player that could be traded, and I think is a very, very good player. Coming in third place is the Cleveland baseball team, who finished with a 35-25 record in 2020. And I think that they're a sneaky good team here. It's just the fact that they lost Francisco Lindor this offseason and Carlos Santana, both who were very good hitters. And they're just, without those two hitters, they're significantly worse. Brad Hand, they lost him in that bullpen. I don't really know that that is a bad thing for them, though, considering the fact that they've got James Karinchak in that bullpen, who's very, very good. And Cleveland is another team that takes that Moneyball approach and still does very, very well. They lost Carlos Carrasco this offseason too. So yeah, additions though: Eddie Rosario, Andres Jimenez, Ahmed Rosario, Cesar Hernandez. I think Andres Jimenez is definitely a potential breakout player in 2021, and Eddie Rosario both are kind of potential breakout players in 2021. Eddie Rosario plays really well in Progressive Field where Cleveland plays. So you've obviously got that rotation of Shane Bieber. You'll have Tristan McKenzie coming up, and they've got a very good starting rotation. Obviously, you've got Jose Ramirez there as well. So this team is a team that could be sneaky in 2021. So coming in second place is going to be the Minnesota Twins. The Twins obviously brought back Nelson Cruz this offseason, who continues to just keep hitting and hitting and hitting. You've got Andrelton Simmons, Alex Colomé, J.A. Happ, Matt Shoemaker. Subtractions would be like Rich Hill, Eddie Rosario. Overall, this team is a very good team. It's just I am a bit concerned about that starting pitching because the starting pitching is just not that good. Jose Barrios, we've been waiting for a breakout season for him, and we've just never seen that breakout season from him. Kenta Maeda kind of was a Cy Young candidate in 2020. So if Kenta Maeda could be very good, then that could definitely push this Twins team to be in first place. And coming in first place is the Chicago White Sox, who finished with a 35-25 record in 2020. The additions this offseason: Lance Lynn, Liam Hendriks, Adam Eaton. That is a really, really good offseason for this White Sox team. Not to mention the fact that they've got Luis Robert. You've got Jose Abreu, the 2020 AL MVP. You've got Andrew Vaughn that could come up. You've got Nick Madrigal, who we still have yet to see yet. You've got Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, and I would expect a bounce-back season from Yohan Moncada, especially. I would expect a bounce-back season from him. This White Sox team is stacked, and their starting rotation could be a little bit of a concern, but I still am going to put them in first place. Subtractions: Dane Dunning, Alex Colomé. They're a significant better team without them, with the players that they got. Now moving on to the AL West. Coming in fifth place, I feel like this is pretty obvious, but if it's not, Texas Rangers. The Rangers, I don't think had a necessarily bad offseason. I just think that they're just not a very good team in general. Additions would be David Dahl, Chris Davis, Mike Foltynewicz, Dane Dunning. Subtractions would be Lance Lynn and Elvis Andrus. So this team is just not very good. That's no secret. They do have some prospects that are coming up, like Sam Huff. Josh Jung could possibly be up in 2022. You've got Hans Kraus. You've got Cole Wine. Or Wynn. I don't even know what his name is. But yeah, David Dahl, Chris Davis, Mike Foltynewicz. I think Mike Foltynewicz might be the sneaky player out of this list to actually break out in 2021 because Mike Foltynewicz definitely is put in the right place in Texas to succeed. So yeah, coming in fourth place is the Seattle Mariners, who I think are a sneaky team, especially the fact that Jared Kelenic and Julio Rodriguez, two top 5 prospects in baseball, will be coming up in 2021, along with Kyle Lewis in that outfield, which is a really good outfield. You've got Kyle Seager besides that, J.P. Crawford. The Mariners are a sneaky team. Their additions this offseason, they got James Paxton back and Kid Giles. James Paxton, I think, is going to be a very good pickup, especially if he can stay healthy, because this team does need starting pitching, and I think Kid Giles will be a good pickup once he is able to pitch, because he will not pitch in 2021 due to Tommy John surgery. So the Mariners are a stinky team for 2021. They come in fourth place, though. Coming in third place, another year without Mike Trout in the playoffs, the LA Angels. 2020 record 26-34. I would love to put the Angels in the playoffs. I did last year. I look very stupid for that because the Angels are simply not a good team. I understand that they have Anthony Rendon, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, but this team's starting pitching is absolutely horrible. It actually would make a person that believes in starting pitching a lot sick, because it's that bad. Alex Cobb and Jose Quintana were your best pickups this offseason. I don't know who they think they are, because I personally think they're the team that is wasting Mike Trout's talent. Because Dexter Fowler, Alex Cobb, it looks like you're starting to build up it looks like you're starting to build up the team of overpaid players, because those are two overpaid players by a lot. And then you bring in Jose Quintana, who is the definition of a 5-starter, being used wrongly as a number 1 starter. Russell Iglesias is a good move, but still, it doesn't move the needle for me. Jose Iglesias, another good move, but it's just like you're contributing more to that hitting, along with Kurt Suzuki. And you gave up Jahimi Jones, your number 7 prospect, for Alex Cobb. Like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't know what the Angels and who they think they are. Second place, I was very tempted to put them in first place, but it's Oakland Athletics. The Athletics in 2020 were very good, 36-24 record. Additions this offseason: Trevor Rosenthal. Yes, you lose Liam Hendriks, but a very good addition is Trevor Rosenthal. Mitch Moreland is another player that they brought in this offseason, along with Elvis Andrus, Adam Kolarek, Cody Thomas, Yusmeiro Petit, and Sergio Romo. Subtractions this offseason: Marcus Semien, Liam Hendriks, Chris Davis, Robbie Grossman, Tony LaSalle. Now, I don't think that this team is as good as they were last year, but I don't think they're a major downgrade from what they were last year. I think that their starting pitching is going to be better with Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puk. In that lineup, you've got Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Raymond Laureano, Elvis Andrus now. You've got a lot of good players in that lineup. And, I mean, your relief pitching is not terrible at all. And your starting pitching, I think, is going to be much improved. In first place, the most hated team in all of baseball, it's the Houston Astros. 2020 record, 29-31. Now, even without the trash cans in 2020, they still almost made it to the World Series. Additions this offseason: Michael Brantley, Jake Odorizzi, Pedro Baez. Subtractions: George Springer. Now, they have lost Framber Valdez this spring training, who is going, I think he broke his thumb, so he'll be out for a bit. You've also got, I mean, in that rotation, it's a young rotation, but it's a rotation that could be good. You lost Forrest Whitley, who is starting to kind of be like a bust, even though we've never seen him, because that's the problem. We've never seen him. Pedro Baez is a good move to the bullpen, but I am concerned about their bullpen, because I just don't think that their bullpen is good enough. I just don't think it's good enough to win a World Series. I just don't. Their starting pitching, I think, is going to be pretty decent. I don't think Justin Verlander is going to pitch this season, but maybe he could towards the end of the season or something. That would be a huge pickup. You've got Zach Greinke there. Their pitching scares me a little bit, but you still got Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve in that lineup, along with, I mean, Kyle Tucker, who's super underrated. This Astros team is very good. I didn't want to put them in first place, but I've got to be realistic, and putting them in first place is the right move, in my opinion. So, yeah, moving on to the National League. Starting off with the National League East, coming in 5th place is going to be the Miami Marlins. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, don't sleep on the Miami Marlins, because 2020 record, 31-29, and I know that is just an above-average record. They made it to the playoffs in 2020. Even though it was a shortened season. Additions, though: Adam Duvall, which I think is a super good pickup for this team. Anthony Bass, Dylan Floro, Adam Simber, John Curtis. I think this team did make some good additions to that bullpen. They also have Yimi Garcia in that bullpen, who had a really, really good 2020 season with a less than 1 ERA. So, yeah, I mean, the Marlins here, they're a sneaky team. I think they might finish with an above 500 record and be in 5th place. That's how stacked this NL East is. Coming in 4th place, I'm pretty sure I've done this for the 2nd year in a row. I'm sure Phillies fans are not going to be happy. I'm going with the Philadelphia Phillies. 2020 record, 28-32. I like their moves this offseason, but I don't think that it makes them a World Series contender at all. Additions, you re-signed JT Realmuto. You got Jose Alvarado, Archie Bradley in that bullpen, and Brandon Kissler. All good moves. It's just their back-end starting pitching is bad. And I think if you get into even a 7-game series with a team, it's just not going to go very far with like Matt Moore, Ivan Nova in the back of that rotation. Aaron Nola, I think, is probably a Cy Young candidate in 2021. But overall, I mean, this Phillies team, they're a fourth-place team in my opinion. Their hitting is not bad at all. You've got JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Alex Bohm. But it's the pitching that's the big problem here. It's the pitching. Coming in third place is the Washington Nationals. Now, I was very tempted to put the Nationals in second place, but I just don't know that I can put them in second place ahead of the two teams in front of them. The additions this offseason: Josh Bell, Brad Hand, Kyle Schwarber, John Lester, Ryan Zimmerman. So, I mean, this team, they had a very good offseason. Josh Bell, I think, is going to have a very good 2021 season. Brad Hand, another good pickup. You're starting to build a good bullpen there with Brad Hand, Will Harris, Daniel Hudson. You've got a very good lineup. Trey Turner. You've got Josh Bell. You've got Kyle Schwarber. You've got Juan Soto. This team is really good, and not to mention the fact that their starting pitching here is very good. But Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, Patrick Corbin. This team is really good, but they do finish in third place, in my opinion. Coming in second place is going to be the New York Mets, finishing with a 26-34 record in 2020. Additions this offseason: Marcus Stroman, they re-signed him. James McCann, Trevor May, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Carrasco, Jonathan Villar, Kevin Pillar. Subtractions, though: Andres Jimenez and Ahmed Rosario. This team is really good and much improved from that 2020 season that was very bad. That rotation is stacked. You've got Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Carlos Carrasco, and Noah Syndergaard when he comes back. You've also got Taekwon Walker, who they picked up this offseason. And overall, this team is very good. And Francisco Lindor to an already pretty good lineup where you've got Michael Conforto, Brandon Nimmo. This is still Pete Alonso, who had a down 2020 season, is still in that lineup, along with Jeff McNeil, who I think is a top 2 second baseman in the league. But coming in first place is the Atlanta Braves. 35-25 record in 2020, and this team improved this offseason. Subtractions: Mark Melancon, Adam Duvall, but I don't think that's that big. When you bring in Charlie Morton, Marcell Ozuna, and Drew Smyly this offseason, I don't think the loss of Adam Duvall is really that big of a deal, considering that they have Drew Waters and Christian Pache ready to come up in the minor leagues. Starting pitching obviously was a big need in 2020, and they definitely got better with Charlie Morton. When Mike Soroka comes back, I don't think they need to rush Mike Soroka just because they were so good without him. And you've got Ian Anderson, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Drew Smyly already in that rotation. So I would let Mike Soroka be 100% fully recovered before I even let him pitch in an actual game if I was the Braves. But for the relief pitching, you've got AJ Minter, who is really good when he is sometimes. Will Smith, obviously, in that bullpen. And this is a very good team. They come in first place, in my opinion. Moving on to the NL Central, do I even really have to say the fifth place team? Their additions this offseason are literally minor league deals. Tyler Anderson and Brian Goodwin. Along with subtractions: Joe Musgrove, Josh Bell, Jameson Tye. If I didn't give it away already, Pittsburgh Pirates, 19-41 in 2020. Hopefully they get Kumar Rocker. If you're a Pirates fan, that would make you, I guess, a little bit relevant. Still not relevant, though. You've got Key Brian Hayes, them on that team, who is a much bright spot on this team, along with O'Neal Cruz, who I think is going to be very, very good in the major leagues. Coming in fourth place is going to be the Chicago Cubs, 34-26 in 2020. But I'm concerned about this Cubs team. You lose Yu Darvish this offseason for a bag of pennies. Kyle Schwarber, John Lester to this offseason. You got Jack Peterson, who is literally Kyle Schwarber 2.0. Trevor Williams, Jake Arrieta, This offseason was very disappointing. And Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, they're very good players, but that pitching is just too terrible for me to even remotely think about them winning the NL Central. Coming in third place is the Cincinnati Reds, finishing with a 31-29 record in 2020. And for this Reds team, I think the addition of Sean Doolittle will be very big, but the subtractions of Raisel Iglesias and Trevor Bauer are just ridiculous. This is a team that barely made the playoffs in 2020, even with Trevor Bauer. And I thought they were the first place team in the NL Central without even thinking that Trevor Bauer would be even remotely close to a Cy Young candidate in 2020. That's how disappointing they were. Their hitting was god awful in 2020. It just was. Joey Votto is now going to be recovering from COVID once he comes back. And this is just, I mean, Eugenio Suarez is there. But overall, this Reds team, hitting, relief pitching, starting pitching is very good for this team with Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray. But overall, I don't see them making the playoffs. I'm just going to be honest. Second place, St. Louis Cardinals, 2020 record 30-28. So, yeah, for this Cardinals team, you brought in Nolan Arenado this offseason, which is a huge move. But this relief pitching is very concerning to me. Jordan Hicks in that bullpen, I think you're going to have to hope that he has a near NL reliever of the year type season for them to really be a World Series contender. Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, they brought them back for their 40th consecutive season on that team. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. It's a very good lineup, but I am concerned about the pitching, definitely. Coming in first place is definitely a team to watch out for in 2021. I'm going with the Milwaukee Brewers. They finished with a 29-31 record in 2020. You've got Colton Wong, Brett Anderson, and Jackie Bradley Jr. You brought in those players this offseason. And I think that this outfield has got a lot better, even though it hasn't from maybe the offensive side. I think Jackie Bradley Jr. could be a very good player for this team. I think that Christian Yelich is going to return to that AVP for. You've got good pitching now. Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, they are in. That's a really good team. Along with Josh Hader, Devin Williams in the bullpen, two of the better relievers in baseball right now. This Brewers team is super good, and I would watch out for them in 2021. They win the NL Central, in my opinion. Coming in fifth place in the NL West is going to be the Colorado Rockies. 26-34 record in 2020. They're just going to get worse. This team is bad. It's real bad. They haven't signed a free agent in 3 off seasons, I'm pretty sure. That's how sad the Rockies organization is. They've wasted Trevor Story's talent when he could be on another team competing. They've wasted his talent. They've wasted Nolan Arenado's talent. And this team is a whole dumpster fire of an organization. You traded Nolan Arenado for a box of coal because that's your organization right there, a box of coal. Fourth place, Arizona Diamondbacks, 25-35 in 2020. This Diamondbacks team, I'm not a big fan. I'm not. I think that I just think that 2019 was a little bit of a lucky season for them. And that was because every other team in the division was rebuilding. I'm not discrediting their 2019 season. I'm just saying it wasn't very. Ketel Marte, I think, is going to return to MVP form. But besides that, who's interesting in this lineup? Nobody. David Peralta, Eduardo Escobar, Asdrubal Cabrera's your real big move of the offseason. I mean, clap it up for them. Attaboy. Really, Asdrubal Cabrera, Joakim Soria, Chris Davinsky. It's just not a good offseason. They come in fourth place. Coming in third place is going to be the San Francisco Giants. 29-31 in 2020. Almost made the playoffs. Questionable call that they didn't make the playoffs because of some kind of play that a lot of people didn't seem to agree with. But their additions this offseason, I think, were very good. Jake McGee is a sneaky pickup that I think could be really good for this team, along with Alex Wood, Kevin Gausman, and Tommy La Stella. Tommy La Stella is another sneaky move. You've got sneaky move, not stinky. Mike Yastrzemski's in that lineup. But for the Giants here, I don't really like the way that their infield is constructed because, I mean, Brandon Crawford, Evan Longoria, there's just washed up players there. So for the Giants, I think they're a third place team. I think they're a decent team. I mean, I think they could compete to win the NL Central or another division, but yeah. Coming in second place is going to be the San Diego Padres. 2020 record, 37-23. I think that this team might win 100 games and not win the division. That's how good this division is at top heavy. Additions this offseason: Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Ha-Seong Kim, Mark Melancon, Joe Musgrove, Keon Keller, Jerkson Profar. Subtractions, though, was Trevor Rosenthal, but they're a better team right now. You've got Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado in that lineup. You've also got Ha-Seong Kim, who could be sneaky good player for them. You've got Eric Hosmer, who bounced back in 2020. You've got just so many good players for this Padres team, and your starting rotation is absolutely stacked. You've got Chris Paddock, Mackenzie Gore, Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. I mean, I'm probably forgetting somebody. It's that good. And your relief pitching is not anything bad either. And they're still trying to get Josh Hader from the Milwaukee Brewers. So yeah, the bullpen maybe is a little concerning to some people, but Drew Pomeranz is sneaky good in that bullpen, along with Emilio Pagan, who I think it's about time for him to really have that breakout season with San Diego, like he did in Tampa Bay. Coming in first place is the Los Angeles Dodgers 2020 record, 43-17. Additions this offseason. You brought in the best free agent in baseball after you just won the World Series. You brought in Trevor Bauer this offseason, Justin Turner, Blake Trinan, Corey Knebel. Subtractions, Jock Peterson, Jake McGee, Kiki Hernandez. They don't care about the fact that they're able to luxury tax. They won a World Series, and I love the way that the Dodgers I like the way that they run their team. They don't be cheap, like they're not cheap like Cleveland and Oakland, who just trade superstars. They get superstars and they sign them for a bunch of money and don't care about the luxury tax. So yeah, this Dodgers team is really, really good. I mean, you've got Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts in that outfield. In that rotation, Trevor Bauer, Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin. So many good starting pitchers there. Relief pitching, Blake Trinan. I mean, I'm probably forgetting somebody like Kenley Jansen. You've also got in that lineup Corey Seager, the 2020 World Series MVP. You've got so many good players there. And Gavin Lux hasn't even played that well so far, who is supposed to be one of the next superstars. And their farm system is still very good. So, yeah, this Dodgers team is so, so good, and they finish in first place. So, that's my regular season predictions. Yeah, let's go ahead and go back through them real quick. Alrighty, so coming in fifth place is the Baltimore Orioles in the AL East. Fourth place, the Red Sox. Third place, Blue Jays. Second place, Rays. And first place, New York Yankees. Fifth place, Tigers for the AL Central. Fourth, Royals. Third, Cleveland. Second, Twins. And first, White Sox. AL West, coming in fifth place, is the Texas Rangers. Fourth, Mariners. Third, Angels. Second, Athletics. And first, Astros. Now to the NL East, coming in fifth place is the Miami Marlins. Fourth place, Philadelphia Phillies. Third place, Washington Nationals. Second place, New York Mets. And first place, Atlanta Braves. Fifth place, Pirates for the NL Central. Fourth, Cubs. Third, Reds. Second, Cardinals. And first, Brewers. Coming in fifth place in the NL West is the Colorado Rockies. Fourth, Diamondbacks. Third, Giants. Second, Padres. And one, Dodgers. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Because if you made it to the end, you had to enjoy something. So go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Yeah, because 85% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.